right, we're back now, and we're talking and visiting with John Schlitt. Hello, John. How you doing tonight?
Hi, Ron. How are you doing, buddy?
Doing real good. If for those of you that may not know about John born in Lincoln, Illinois, in 19 June.
In another century. Yes.
Yeah, well, you know, I have mercy.
Thanks,
I have mercy on you. I was right there with you. So, originally got your start as the lead singer of Head East. Now, let me tell you that that's in my genre, is Head East, and that really kind of got your start. But that was just the catalyst, and it was after that was the turning point in your life. But tell me how Head East really affected you and set you up for your life.
Well, there were some positive things in Head East. I learned how to, sing. I learned how to train my voice. I learned how to start singing rock and roll in a very real way. Let's put it this way: when someone says John Schlitt's a rock singer, I know what that means, and it's because I sang in bars, 7 days a week, 6 hours a day for oh my gosh, about 3 or 4 years, just out of during college and out of college, and then we started touring with that band because we did our own album, produced it ourselves, actually financed it ourselves, and it hit, and it's got a classic single on it now, which kept me touring in some very major tours of the time. So I got to learn how to sing in front of a lot of people. And I look back at it now and see it as was just training for what God really had for me, later on. So, like I said, that was good stuff, but it was also, the problem is once you walk off stage, you still got the backstage. And in the secular world back in the 70s, I don't think it had anything to do with Jesus Christ. So, because if it did,
not much, not normally.
And I was pretty much a victim of that time. Thought I was a good, morally right kid, but that had nothing to do with being the target of the enemy.
Now, Petra, once you got with them, an amazing career with Petra. 2 gold albums, 4 Grammys, 10 Doves, sounds like, and a partridge in a pear tree in there somewhere, I'm sure.
Really. And a couple of nice T-shirts. Yes.
Yeah, and you've got Gospel Music Hall of Fame. I remember in late 60s, actually it was kind of more mid 60s, I played contemporary Christian music, and that was so early then. We were like my home church, which was a Christian church, and it was the first time they'd ever had live drums in there. Only the piano and the organ were sanctioned by God to be in a church. And
in some churches, even that was sin.
Exactly. Now, as Petra, even though it moved on along in the 80s, and a lot had changed by then, I'm sure you weren't warmly received every place you went playing the devil's music.
Oh, no. I spent at least the first 10 years of me being in the band, and that's after the band had been around for, oh my gosh, 13 years or so, even before then. And the first 10 years that I was in the band, we spent more time trying to justify our existence or justify our ministry to the church than we did to the world. It was actually very disheartening. In fact, when I first joined Petra, I was so blessed, so thankful that I believe Bob wrote a song called "Thankful." I have a thankful heart. Because I told him, I said, man, I want you to know I am so blessed that God's allowing me to come back and sing in the same venues that I did in Head East, and come back with a bigger audience and sing the new discovery I have that changed my life. So I was very thankful. But by the time that I think This Means War came out, I was very bitter because we were out there seeing kids' lives change, and then we'd go in and have youth pastor conferences, all day before the concert, and half the time they'd have pastors walking out and go, well, I didn't need Christian music to get saved. I don't think anybody else does either.
Well, that mentality has changed a lot, thank God, over the last several years, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, and it hardened my heart for a little while, but thank God I had a lot of great guys with me, Bob and the rest of the guys in the band that would come up and say, John, don't let your heart get hardened. Now, don't let it be, and obviously, then a song comes out with that title too. So it was challenging. It was challenging. No, it wasn't all just pieces of cake. We didn't just float through it and everything was fine. I remember playing in Bogota, Colombia, for 12,000 people. 2,000 came forward. This is a Spanish-speaking country, and what did we get greeted by when we first came in there? A picket line of nuns with signs saying that we were straight from hell. It was truly an amazing event.
No one wants to hear my stories, but I had played one. We were playing in one in a church one time, and we got into the second song, and we had a pastor that stood up, stopped the concert, and asked if we had something, brother, a little softer to play, and he stopped it right then. We packed up and we had to leave right then. But thank God, a lot of that has changed over the years. And
yes.
Now you've been married to the same woman all these years. She's gone through the secular rock and roll life, and now into the current lifestyle. I'm sure the stresses of touring are pretty much similar. How's she holding up on that?
Well, excuse me, Ron. Actually, I'll tell you what. I think the stresses of secular touring was a whole lot worse because I was never home. The band totally was. The band was everything. Everything came second. Where with Petra especially. Family came first. Well, it was God, family, then job, because that was the godly order of things. So, I mean, there were times when it would have been a whole lot cheaper for us to stay on the road and a whole lot more economical. But when economics concern your family also, when you start adding up those costs, made a lot of sense to go home, a lot quicker than normally with a band that was as successful as Petra was. Again, we could have stayed on the road 12 months a year, but we didn't. We'd go out for about 2.5 months with divisions in that time period to where we were never gone more than like 10 days a time. And then we were home for 5, So I think the secular touring and the Christian touring was totally different.
Wow, that's great. Now, over the years, how do you judge the difference in, a more technical side, the recording of Head East and the way you record today and what you did with Petra? The whole industry has changed a lot, hasn't it?
Oh my gosh, yes. The recording of Head East, we did it in a 16-track studio with I remember one song we had all 5 of us on the board making adjustments as the song went on. It was funny. That was before, computer-assisted changes and that kind of stuff. For instance, my latest album, The Grafting, was done in my son-in-law's studio in his house, and it truly probably is one of the finest sounds I've ever heard. So the digital technology that's come into recording now, to me, is just totally amazing. Even the purists have to say, it's pretty good music. It's pretty clean. As far as technology, it's just totally, there's no comparison. It's like me being in a covered wagon doing Head East and riding in a jet plane doing the Grafting.
Well, and everything weighed at least 50 pounds back then.
You remember that, don't you?
Well, yeah. That's why my back is the way it is today, is from hauling those Fender cabinets up flights of stairs and drums and stuff.
Now all you need is a pod
Yes.
that you can put in your back pocket, and it's amazing. In fact, I'll tell you what, guitar and bass pods saved us on our last tour when we were with all this airline stuff happening with no bags here and no weights here and all that. We were able to go out, and it helped too, having two amazing guitar players and a fantastic drummer. And we'd go out with two pods that you could put in a small suitcase, and the drummer would take his snare and maybe his cymbals, and just depend on whatever was there, and it was amazing. It sounded fantastic.
Wow. We're visiting with John Schlitt. His website is www.johnwschlitt.com. You need to go over there and visit that. His current album out in 2008, I think, is The Grafting.
Yes.
I did notice that 2009, you were in Romania.
Yes, I was. I had a ball there. That was fantastic, except I got all my money stolen from my suitcase. But other than that,
it's Romania.
No. I'll tell you, the Romanian people there that hosted my, I did 2 shows there, and they were sweethearts. They tried so hard. They were so embarrassed, and were on the police, just constantly checking with the police to see if we can get it back, and it wasn't going to happen. I knew that the minute I saw the suitcase empty, it was going to, okay, it's gone. But still, I would love to do Romania again.
Okay, we've talked about your past, we've talked about the middle. So what's in the future for John?
Good question. I'm really concentrating a lot on my new record company, 4K Records, which is, of course, right now the only CD I have on it is The Grafting, but that's keeping me very busy. Getting some new people with me that have been really great. I'm actually part of the staff of a church in South Dakota, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, for 1 week out of the month, not to mention I still have a great church here at home. So just a lot of new adventures. I'm totally open for touring 12 months a year, anything you want. Hire me. Come on.
Yes, you need to hire John. Getting back out there on the road.
Absolutely. From anything to, a very small church that I can go in with tracks to a big production type of thing. I'm pretty much set for anything with all the Petra material I've had in the past and my 3 solo CDs. Whatever's needed, I think with the song material I have to use, I can cover it.
Doesn't sound like there's any sounds of slowing down.
No, you know what? My wife and I talked about that. She said, well, at our age, should we be retiring? I says, retiring? I've been retired for the last 30 years. It's when you're doing amazing, when you're having a ball, that's retirement. And so I was more upset when I had to leave Petra, because I've been doing that for 20 years and loved it. And for about 1.5 years, 2 years, it was a little scary because I really didn't know what I was going to do. And then doors started opening. And I knew I was going to do a solo record, and that finally got accomplished. And then things started happening there, and so it's a whole different ballgame for me.
Any signs of a reunion tour or anything like that?
I used to say no way. I'm not going to say anything about that. Let's just put it this way: God can do anything He wants.
That's right. Okay, John Schlitt, www.johnwschlitt.com. We've asked all the questions. Now, is there anything that you want to say?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to wish everybody a Happy New Year. I think 2010 is going to be great for the body of Christ. I think we're going to go through, there's going to be a lot of challenges, but isn't it neat to know that we have God standing with us, and whatever comes towards us, there's nothing we can't succeed through Jesus Christ. So I wish everybody a great year. I'm looking forward to being part of whatever God has in store for me. I know it's going to be my whole goal is to just stay out of His way and let Him guide me through this year, and looking forward to it. I hope I see everybody personally, and that we can get together and enjoy life through Jesus Christ.
John, thank you very much. Best of luck to you. I know you're not going to slow down at all. Looks like you're just going to keep going until the last bell rings. So
I haven't heard it put that way, but you're right. The rounds keep coming, and I keep punching.
Hey, there's no sense in laying down yet. John, thank you very much. We appreciate all your time. Now it's time for us to throw it back to our Dallas studios to finish out our New Year's Eve party for our 2K10.